Greetings, everyone. This is Payment Loans, the also find your coach. Today we're kicking off day 4 of the 5-day Profit Podcast Lead Challenge, launch challenge for the month of April 2025. And today's day 4. We're going to be literally launching your podcast and creating a YouTube channel and also creating your assets, your cover art assets for your podcast, YouTube, and thumbnails and all that. So it's going to be very hands-on, very fun day, very creative. And also we have a special guest here today, my good friend, publisher. We've done quite a few books together, 4, and finalized the 5th one last week. And this one is coming in the summer. And fingers crossed for the 6th one for my birthday in October. So we've been co-creating magic together. She was first a guest on my podcast, 4 years ago? Summer of 2021. And then I kept seeing her launching book after book, becoming #1 all the time. And then I reached out to her, hey, what are you doing, lady? And then we had a conversation. She made me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I was in the first book in March of 2022. Then another book in July of 2022. And then we had a conversation that opened a new world for me. She said, hey, why don't you create your own multi-authored books? Because you have this relationship with people on your podcast. At the time, at over 200 episodes. And this was the first volume, September of 2022. This is the second volume, which was released a year ago, January of last year. And now we're working on volume 3. So going to officially kick off volume 3 next week, because this week I've been busy with the challenge. But next week, that's when it's going to really kick off. And very excited. So let me start. Mary, thank you for being here. I'll start by giving you the floor. Let's keep it short,
I love
sweet,
the
to the
floor.
point. Yeah.
Love
Show us
having
your
the floor.
magic. Shine
Thank
for
you.
us,
Thank
Mary.
you, love. Yes, I love that story. I love that. The truth of the matter is really, which is why all of you that are here, Lorna, and those catching the replay, those coming later, is that this all happened because of podcasting. And I met Payman, and one of the reasons I was a new publisher, a new hybrid publisher. I was starting my own first online business. I had some brick and mortar. So I have a history of being in executive leadership in the corporate realms. I call it a corporate carnival. I'm divorced once, married to my second husband, who is an angel in disguise. And just going through the circumstances of life that generated a pretty powerful story for me. But it started with first me saying yes to a multi-author book, which I'm excited. Payman's doing number 3. I've since created 2 solo books, and I'm working on the 3rd book, which is about writing a book. But my latest, my Let It Be Easy, Let It Be Fun, which is what I speak to a lot, is how to unleash your extraordinary life and business in 21 days. So I have a whole energy background. After I started having panic attacks in my corporate carnival, things had to change, right? This is not my life. But the longest story short, that era of my life, that decade of understanding that being in a place of panic was not my story. And it wasn't my life, and it wasn't the life that I wanted to share with my children, who are now 21 and soon to be 19. Was just walking my way through and learning not only to hold a space for myself, but the more we learn to hold a space for ourselves, and writing is huge in that, and speaking on podcasts, huge. The more we share our story, the more we're holding a space for ourselves to show up, the more exciting life could be. And then just putting everything I had learned together as a leader, a manager, a consultant in multi-million-dollar dental offices, and a fitness instructor, a yoga instructor, a Reiki specialist, a breath work. All of these things came together to be able to hold space for other soul-inspired entrepreneurs all over the world to give that story. Because it wasn't until I wrote the first chapter, that first experience, that I realized, wow, all these tools have purpose. That whole 25 years that I thought was the shittiest time of my life is actually the very story that put me into the next realm, which is publishing and mentoring. So that's kind of the whole kit and caboodle, because everybody's like, how did you get here? And so in 2021, I started my publishing company, Divine Destiny, now mentoring and publishing. And I thought, I need a podcast host. I need one a place. So when these women say yes to me and men, I want a place, I want to be able to send them to a stage to keep sharing. Like, especially when you're writing a chapter, I want you to be vocalizing. So that's how I met Payman. And we've been together in this ever since, sending people back and forth and holding space for people to share their most authentic vibration.
Yeah.
And as you already know, you're in this place, right? To share on a new stage, to create your own stage, which is so freaking empowering. Client attraction in a way that just brings people right to your door, and you get to share who you are and what you offer, and also put them on a stage, right? There's the give and receive. It's a seamless transaction and relationship builder, which is really what we're here to do. And the impact that our business, that we know, we feel in us, that our business came to create, the prosperity, it all lies in that, the relationships we get to build. And podcasting, writing, putting yourself in collaborative spaces where we're going deep into our lives and sharing globally, that's the ticket. So that's why I believe in both of these. So what do you think, Payman? How am I doing so far?
Beautiful, beautiful. Just a question as you were talking. How was, for example, you stepping up, embracing your story, and then sharing it? How has that impacted your life? And what kind of opportunities that opened up for you?
Well, I mean, I can show you all kinds of things. From an energetic standpoint, I truly, I live in a place that is really joy, peace, and freedom 99% of the time. And I'm for the naysayers and say bullshit, it's true. And I even am surprised, because I share myself.
Mhm.
I don't have anything to hide in me. My stories are out,
Mhm.
right? I'm not carrying a wagon of trauma. From a financial perspective, because I stepped into the role, right? Abundant, if you've ever heard, like, abundance is your birthright, because I stepped in the role of who I was birthed to be, I got nothing to hide. This is my story. This is what I came to create loving and lasting change. This is who I be. This is what excites me. Um, Seemingly I've got a business, I've got a flow of income, right? That you all deserve, that we're all here to receive. From a visibility standpoint, the promise of the multi-author book. Okay, so here's the deal, yo. Same with podcasting. I was teaching meditations in the French Quarter of New Orleans, moon meditations, playing sound bowls. So I have a lot of sound instruments. So I'm a sound person too. Who knew? And she said, write your story in this book. And like, I don't have a story. No, I don't write. All the things came up, right? And 15 minutes later, I'm like, yes, because she said one thing that my body responded to: global audience. Well, for the last year and a half in my meditations, that's what I've been hearing my guides. Like, you need to stop hiding. You need to share yourself with more people. And when she said, like, I was aware enough, she said, global audience. I said, I got to say yes. Well, one other thing happened. I'm going to be point blank honest with you. Um, that same night, that was the first night I ever met her. I was going home. My husband was driving us home. And I looked at him and I said, sweetie, that gal, I don't know who she is. She's going to pay off our house. And I'm a
Wow.
playful being. I wrote a book that says, let it be easy, let it be fun. I'm a very playful, energetic being. And I know I wasn't always. And I have a 3-step process that I coach people through. And so I was listening to myself, though. If this invitation, this intuitive hit came in, this silly idea came in, I listened. I heard myself, I repeated it out loud, which is what we do on podcasts. So I sealed the deal. Like, it's out. And I just thought it was funny. Well, she came to every meditation. I realized she's a hybrid publisher. She said, come to my book, come to my next book. I'm mentoring publishers. And every step of the way, because of those two things, global audience, she's going to pay off my house. I kept saying yes. So yes, there was a materialistic piece to this, but I was ready to step in that kind of miraculous energy. I heard it, and so I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to keep showing up for what she's got. And so I did. And 3 years, so I bought a condo the same year. I bought a condo in Sedona, second house, the same year that that book Phoenix launched. 2 months before it launched, I found the courage to say yes to something I was fighting, like getting another space and location. And 3 years later, so I kept stepping forward and I did the publishing, 5 books in my first year, uh, 30, 40, 50 books now, hundreds of best-selling authors.
Wow.
By year 3, I paid off this condo. Now, I'm going to look you straight in the eye, and I believe the very truth is because I got out of the way and I shared my wholeness
Yes.
on a global stage. And the universe said, well done, my good and faithful servant, or whatever, right? Well done, Mayor Bear. That's what I call myself. And it's that easy. And yes, the toughest parts are feeling safe enough to show up and share, right? Feeling safe enough that what I say out loud isn't going to create more blame, shame, and guilt. Yet somebody's going to be waiting on the other side that said, you know what? I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that today. And then you just learn you hold space for that. So that's how it changed my life from all kinds of different perspectives. What I love doing now, alongside with having brilliant book partners like Payman, sharing streams of income, helping others create a deeper level of impact, because we're all part of this Way Showers Wealth movement. We're all part of this flow. Is getting holding a space for people to share, to really get deep and allow the experience to be healing and cathartic and necessary and bold. And so that's who I get to be. I have an event coming up. You've got time, but it's at the end of May and they fill up really fast and there's only 20 spots. And I'll put a link in here for that. But where I help people jumpstart their book. It's called Publishing on Purpose, Jumpstart Your Business Generating or Your Brand Book, which is a 100-page book about little spine, cute little book that shares your 3 tips, your 5 things, your process. It's a little memoir and a little teaching and a little invitation, which is also called selling, right? So it's got all 3 of the things. It's got, this is who I am, my visibility. This is the impact, and here's some value. Here's some ways that you can start activating your own extraordinary life, for instance. And here's the invitation. Come closer to me if it resonates. And this begins this relationship building. Because we feel it. We feel it. When somebody writes something, you feel them. You automatically, they open a place up where you can get into their world and build that relationship. So that's what I love doing. Now, Payman is going to start a multi-author book. He's going to have some invitations coming out next week. And really a big purpose for those is as a low investment, and it helps you get your feet wet, and it helps you really grow your visibility overnight. Because if there's 15 or 20 contributors, they come in. This is how we create the V in VIP. Right away, it's already the client attraction, the magnet is already like-minded because it's leaders with a heart, right? It's already like-minded. You build power partnerships. You start creating an impact in other people's group alongside each other. Something like where 2 or more are gathered, right?
1 + 1 = 11. Yeah.
It equals, yeah, 1 + 1 = 11. And where 2 or more are gathered, we're automatically creating more impact. So that's the build of multi-author books. And you get the best-selling title. So your credibility goes up. Your confidence goes up with that credibility. Yes, it's a label. Yes, even the most soul-inspired entrepreneurs can use some of these 3-dimensional fancy labels. Absolutely. The whole timeline is open to us. This is me sharing who I am, because you're either going to like it or you're not, right? And then we launch it and we all do it together. But the event that I'm hosting, which will also give you some more insight on why publish a brand book, why publish a solo book, how can a brand book or a business generating book really change my client attraction system or enhance it or really just help me get booked on more stages. And so I support people in creating that brand book,
Mary, a question.
editing the book.
A
Yep.
question, Mary.
Mhm.
What is a brand generating book? What's the difference between a brand generating book and a regular book,
A,
for example?
a business generating book and a brand book are very similar. It's just two different words that mean the same thing. And then there's the memoir.
Mm,
The memoir is here is my life story and kind of like a novel.
mm,
And then the brand or the business generating, as I said earlier, it's very specific. I'm going to give you my 21-day journey. I'm going to give you my 3-step process. I'm going to tell you in the introduction a bit about my story. But the preface of the book is to give my readers some value that they can take away and get to know me and get to know my style and actually get activated by some of my work. And in these books, we also make it easy for people to come closer because we get to put QR codes in there or links that lead to my digital course or my monthly group page or my podcast or whatever you want to link it to. And it's another form. Mine is gray because this is a proof copy. So it's another form of creating an impact. When you feel into your heart and you say, I know I want to create an impact, do you feel limited? Do you feel like there's only one way to do that? And if so, I'm here to tell you there's limitless ways to do it. And we get to try all the ways, and they're all enhance more and more. So I work with people on all 3 levels of that, the book, the signature talk, the signature offer. But that's the difference. The memoir, the novel, it's just in-depth journey of your life. The memoir is a story about your life. And I think that there's a place for that. It depends on the impact you came here to create. I believe in today, now times, people, one of the biggest things we hear people say is, I don't have time. And that's why these books, these little easy to read, easy to follow, easy to activate books, same as multi-author books, are valuable because in a small frame of time, so they say with these 100-page books, which I love focusing on, it's 5 hours. If you can speak on your podcast for 5 hours, you've got a 100-page book,
yes.
right? And you've got yet another way. And when somebody's booking stages, let's just say you want to be an in-person stage, and they're looking at all their people and they say, well, there's a best-selling author and there's this, they don't have a book, and they're thinking along the lines like, well, it's great to have speakers that have books because now they got seat drops, now they can sell a booth, they can get book signings, right? Now they've got something tangible that people are going to take away from somebody's talk. Not just this, but this too. And so you're more likely to get asked to join those events because you have something. Or if you're negotiating a keynote, right? Let's say that the keynotes, they don't want to give you $5,000, they want to give you 2,500, but you say, what about if I give everybody a book? You can elevate, give me 3,500 and we'll give everybody a book or something. You've got negotiating power because you have something. You have something, a gift to offer the event guests.
Beautiful. I will share my experience with books. I use my books as my business cards.
Mm.
I'm especially now that I'm no longer shy, very outgoing guy. I go to events, networking, and at the end, when people ask me, "Hey, can I have your business card?" I simply smile. I say, "I don't have a business card." So I reach in my bag, say, "But here's my book." You should see the reaction. What? You have a book? Because nothing screams expertise, authority, and leadership than a book. And that you having a book, especially even more so if you have a book about your business, your industry, that's going to elevate you in the mind without saying a single word to being seen as an expert, an authority, and a leader. My book has given me, I've got quite a few referrals for business. And my book and my podcast together last year landed me a TED Talk without even trying. Without even trying. I met with a gentleman, an American expat here. He happens to be the coordinator and one of the judges in the selection committee for the town's TEDx. We had a chat. I told him my story. I gave him a copy of my book. I gave him a copy of this book. And he said, "Hey, why don't you do a TED Talk?" I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well," he said that he's one of the judges and he wants me to be a speaker. I said, "Absolutely." So again, it opens doors, it opens opportunities. And your book is, at least for me, from my personal experience, has been the best business card because let's face it, business card, they all end up in the bin. And the ones you do keep after a day or two, you have no idea who's that from. But a book, nobody throws a book away. And that's
So
why,
true. They might give it away, but then that's the ripple effect right there.
yeah,
I always like to tell people when you're traveling, bring some of your in their little books so they travel
yeah,
well. That's the other thing I love about these things.
yeah,
And so I just leave them randomly sometimes in a hotel or in a
yeah,
place so people can always get activated. But it's
beautiful.
powerful. Podcasting is powerful. Book writing is powerful. Speaking on any stage, the more that we can share our truth, the
Especially if you come,
more
yeah,
we can create the loving and lasting change that I know I came here to create. So that's where I hold spaces. So I put my link for my 2-day event at the end of May in there, and there's a fast action bonus on there. It's a $50 event. You do get a one-to-one 15-minute map out call with me as part of it, and so it's only $25. But it will jumpstart, it will show you how to create an outline, how to create a timeline. If you're interested in starting your solo book, those are really the three biggest takeaways is we'll talk about the different ways to publish, but you'll create with a you'll leave with a book topic, a detailed outline, and a timeline if you really are motivated to step forward and create this. I like to say when people are creating podcasts or creating courses or something else you're creating in your business, essentially you're already creating this. It's already part of it. If you transcribe your voice, your Zoom calls, you can talk your book to life with dictation and then pop it into an editing software or chat GPT. So I go through all these fun ways that you can make this happen for yourself and create the impact that you know in your heart you desire to create. But or if you just want to spend some more time in a room with me, come in. It's a 2-day event.
speaking of
You
that,
never know it's going to come out. I mean,
I will share with you guys before we move on a stat that completely blew my mind, and that is a 200-page book is about 60,000 words, roughly speaking. Now, one 30-minute podcast episode is 3,000 words. So if you do 10 of those, you pretty much have a book. So that's the lowest hanging fruit. You can just transcribe, like Mary said, but I wouldn't recommend that. Let's say you've launched a podcast, you've spoken with, say, 20, 30 people in your industry. You can publish a book on lessons I learned after speaking with, say, 10, 20 people doing X, or even better, like me and Mary are doing. Invite those people to come share their story in a multi-authored book. And each person that gets in, they pay to get in the book. So there's many ways to,
so many ways.
yeah. And one of the best ways and fastest way to literally publish your book is by simply speaking it. Just fire up your Zoom, maybe open your notepad with bullet points, and you just speak from the heart. 15 minutes is, sorry, 30 minutes is 6,000 words. 15 minutes is 3,000 words. So just 15-minute increments, you do that within a week or two, you can bang a book. And the
I
book
say
doesn't,
5 hours, 100
yeah,
pages, and everybody will have plenty of time to read your book.
yeah. Especially a book about your business, what you do.
I
That's
think that might all
powerful.
change one day, but we might go back to a place where we feel like we have time to get to read longer, projects, or some people that have more time to read. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
powerful. Like you said, Pam, it's easy. It's easy, but I'm definitely open to show you some more jumpstart tips and tricks. The
Yeah.
difference between publishers, how to actually, once you've written the book. So I have a program called Write and Publish Your Business Generating Brand Book in 90 days. And it goes through the whole writing, editing, formatting, cover design, all the jazz. Um, and so I speak to that, but you at least get to, you know, learn something. What are the different ways that I can publish a book? If I do go talk about my book for 5 hours, and I get it all dictated, what's the next step? How do I self-publish? Do I hybrid publish? Do I traditional publish? What are the benefits in these three? What are the cons? So
Mm.
we talk a lot about that stuff too. It's very informative and fun
One thing I
because
also,
everything.
one thing I want to add to that is that, and that I love, this one reason I love working with you is that every book that we do together has been successful. Number one, international bestselling on launch day in multiple countries and multiple categories. Because everybody in the book has a vetted interest to ensure that the book has a smashing launch day. So that's you become, and again, that's what allowed me to become a 4 times, soon to be 5 time number one international bestselling author by just
Yeah, I've
collaborating.
been blessed
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
100%. And I don't take it for granted. I'm so grateful with
of
a
course, yeah.
100% success rate. And I've watched my colleagues, and I'll give you the insight on that and the truth on that. It's nothing more than a vibe. It's energy.
Yeah,
It's belief systems, and in your belief system, you attract, like you said, payment. Everybody does their share. You attract the right, the not right. There's no right or wrong, but you attract the most aligned people.
so
And that's
aligned.
again
Yeah,
what does it
yeah.
makes it more easier to create an easier space to receive the people that you know need your support without chasing them or just burning yourself out by trying to find them. It's a natural, and I'm telling you, the universe, man, when you step up in these ways, the universe meets you for sure.
Mhm.
There is no denying it.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just in my containers. I don't know. The universe meets you, and that's the truth. That's my truth.
yeah. The
That's my
universe
client. That's
matches
our
you
truth.
with your vibration frequency.
Yep, matches you.
Absolutely. Awesome,
That's how
Mary.
we found each other, Payment, isn't it?
That's it. All because
Leaders
of
of the
this.
heart.
Yeah, yeah,
Matchy,
yeah.
matchy.
Yeah, and then you started
Thank you.
not one but two podcasts, and that also helped you a lot.
I did that. I did two podcasts. I'm getting ready to start another show, um,
Wow.
which is very just like a podcast,
Mm.
but it's a show. I'm going to be interviewing my solo book authors and letting them share with people how it has changed their life, how it has changed their business, how it has changed their brand. Because it's powerful.
Speaking of that, Mary.
2%. I'm going to leave you with this. Only 2%, one, two,
Yeah.
have published books. One, two.
Yeah.
82% of the population wants to publish, 2% published.
Beautiful.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thanks
You're
for listening.
welcome.
Any questions, Lorna? Do you have any questions? Payment, you have any other questions?
Thank you. This is very, very helpful, very insightful, very inspiring. And certainly that your passion comes through, knowing
You hear
what
that a lot.
together. It's just really, really great. And I see and hear, the value of and the multifaceted way that the book can be used and in conjunction with the podcast. Just a really beautiful duo.
Big
Really,
time.
thank you.
Speaking of that, one last question for you, Mary. How
Yes.
is having your podcast helped you in your business?
How is that? Oh my gosh, I have built so many relationships by interviewing guests on my podcast. So my first podcast was Shine Your Soul Light, sharing the voices of visionaries leading in the golden age and first of all, being in a space where people can speak more of their truth on that first podcast and just seeing the changes and reflections of how they went and changed their life after hearing themselves speak to their soul light or something that we each activated together. I have created so many long-term connections that also do, again, with the podcast, they've come off and become brilliant book partners. So I've streamed money to me, I've streamed money to them. Second podcast was about business stuff. Extraordinary entrepreneurs share their 3 secrets. And what that does is it enhanced my visibility levels for me and my clients, mind you, for more stages, more visibility opportunities, more business-led opportunities that, again, that I was invited to. And that now in turn, because I have a whole chain of clients looking for visibility, that I can do just like I did with you, Payman, like create these power partnerships.
Yeah.
And we each help each other to keep stepping up. But that intimacy that you get with a podcast interview, it's powerful. It's powerful relationship building.
Yes.
And 9 times out of 10, if there's follow-up, you get to co-create something with somebody. The follow-up is where everybody falls off. We know that. But with follow-up too, oh, I can't even tell. I mean, it makes it creates more limitless ways for you to create an impact, to be seen, be heard, and number 3, to get the prosperity.
Yep.
We deserve to make boatloads of monetary vibrations. We deserve it. And one of the biggest reasons our circumstances, whatever our traumas may have been, those were the activators to that level of abundance we're willing to receive, that money, that frequency, that prosperity. Okay. Whew.
Beautiful.
I could go, I'm going into a whole other talk now.
Thank you, Mary. What's the best way to reach out to you, or if someone wants to connect with you?
I'll put my information too in the chat here, but you can find me at Mary Gooden on Facebook, marygooden.com. It's Gooden. Mary J. Gooden on Instagram. Not on LinkedIn that much, but I have a profile. And I'm putting my email address also in here. It's info@marygooden.com if you just want to shoot me an email. But MaryGooden. Put it in Google and put your own name in Google too. That's a fun thing. When you have a podcast, if nothing's showing up now, wait till you get your podcast show on the road, because your name in Google search will pull up your podcast.
Yes. And podcast, they
You
rank
probably
very
talk
highly.
about that, Payman.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mary, always a pleasure having you. Me and you, as you said, we love to play and play hard. So keep shining a light, my dear friend.
You
Excited
too.
about
Thank
the
you.
new venture we're gonna start next week, the new book.
Yeah.
And yeah, this year, God willing, we'll have 3 books together.
Yeah, let's do it. You know, the sky's the limit. It's just a matter of let's go. Thank you. Thanks for your time, Lorna. It was nice to meet you. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to connect.
Yeah.
All right, now it's back to learning, right? It's time to learn.
Yeah. You're welcome to stay, Mary, as always. You're welcome to stay. Love
I
your
might stay for a
energy.
minute. I've got a few things I've got to wrap up.
All right.
I had
No
an
worries.
I had another event earlier today, which is so now we're moving to the next date. But it's glad to
Okay.
be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's